Did you know that in 2025, seniors in the US lost over $2 billion to online scams? This year fraud schemes are sharper than ever. Fake bank alerts, cloned websites, AI-generated voice calls, and investment pitches that promise steady returns overnight. One careless click, one rushed response, or trusting a message because it looks official can cost you not just money but peace of mind and independence. Scammers target the moments you're distracted or tired. They layer urgency and emotion to make you act without checking. Staying safe isn't about being tech-savvy, it's about habits. Pausing, verifying, and using simple tools that block threats. Learn to spot tiny mistakes, confirm identities, and treat every unexpected request with caution. Apply straightforward protections and you'll protect decades of hard-earned savings and the freedom to enjoy tech. Before we go on, if this is already striking a chord with you, like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay informed and safe. I'm Wilfred Halloway, 68, a retired jazz pianist who once thought the internet was a harmless stage for reunion visits, sheet music, and a little online shopping. I started out curious and open, trading emails with old bandmates, sending photos to grandchildren, and even trying online banking to pay bills. But curiosity quickly collided with confusion. Small, believable lies piled up. A desperate-seeming message about a family emergency, a convincing-sounding phone call claiming to be from my bank, a pop-up that said my computer was infected. Each time, I felt embarrassed afterward. Each time I promised myself I'd be wiser. Those shocks built into a quiet fear that followed me whenever a notification lit up my phone. I began to question whether technology was a friend or a threat. More than once I felt foolish for not spotting the trick sooner, and that sting was part of what finally pushed me to change. I decided to treat online safety like learning a new piece of music, patiently, deliberately, and with practice. I kept my curiosity, but I changed my approach. I created small habits that became armor, pausing before acting, learning the language of scams, using simple tools to filter danger, and asking for a second opinion before I ever sent money. This isn't about being scared of devices, it's about giving yourself permission to be cautious without losing joy. After I started applying these habits, the anxiety eased. I could open messages and bank online with a steadier heart. Let me walk you through the actions I took, step by step, so you can protect yourself too. And trust me, the next step completely changed how I use technology. I learned to treat every unexpected request as a question, not an order, to verify through a separate channel, and to lean on local senior centers, trusted websites, and family when unsure. Those small choices restored my freedom, and they can restore yours, too. I kept it simple, reliable, and suited to seniors everywhere. First, I recognized the red flags. The first time it happened, I almost missed the clue because it was tiny. A date written as 02/30, a comma in the wrong place, a greeting I'd never heard from my grandson. Those small errors were easy to shrug off when I was tired or distracted, but together they painted a picture that didn't add up. Over time I learned to treat every odd detail as a potential warning sign. Rather than feeling embarrassed, I began cataloging those little missteps in my head. The sender address that used a familiar name but an unfamiliar domain. The urgency baked into a message that tried to make me act without thinking, attachments with odd file extensions, and links that led to addresses that almost, but not quite, matched the real site. I turned the recognition of red flags into a short checklist I could run through in seconds. When an email or text arrived, I now paused and asked myself 4 quick questions. Who exactly is this from? Does the email address match the name on the message? Is anyone pressuring me to act fast or give money? Are there attachments or links I didn't expect? If any answer was unclear, I treated the message as suspicious. I also learned small browser tricks. Hover over links to reveal the real URL, check whether the domain name is spelled correctly, watch for extra letters or swapped characters, and look for HTTPS and the padlock icon, but don't assume the padlock guarantees safety. One memorable example involved a message claiming to be from my health provider offering a rare medication. It used urgent language and asked me to click a link. Because I'd practiced my checklist, I noticed the subtle mismatch in the sender's email and called the clinic directly. The clinic confirmed there was no such offer, and that tiny pause had saved me from a sophisticated phishing plot. Another time a caller used a familiar name but the voice sounded slightly robotic. Instead of complying, I hung up and called the person's known number. That one decision kept me from wiring money to a scammer pretending to be family. Emotionally, building the habit transformed fear into empowerment. At first the checklist felt like paranoia. Later I realized it was an act of self-respect. I stopped viewing myself as a gullible target and began seeing myself as capable of spotting manipulation. That confidence made it easier to act calmly when a real problem arose, rather than reacting out of fear. Practically, I shared these quick checks with friends at the senior center and we compared the kinds of red flags we had seen. Our combined knowledge made each of us sharper. We even made a simple 3-line note to keep by the phone: pause, verify, call. It sounds small, but in a moment of panic it's the reminder that keeps you from making an irreversible choice. Always pay attention to details. Scammers rely on urgency and fear to trick you, so noticing small mistakes can save you big. Have you ever noticed something off in a message and almost ignored it? Tell me in the comments. But recognizing red flags was just the beginning. What I did next surprised even me. I started saving suspicious messages as screenshots, reporting phishing to providers, and flagging scams to the FTC so others could be warned. Those small steps turned suspicion into action and kept me safer each day. That habit protects my savings, and it can protect yours. Secondly, I verified before I acted. Next, whenever I received a suspicious message, I called the person or organization directly. One message claiming my bank account was compromised turned out to be fake. I used to react in a panic, click the link, call the number in the text, or read out a code, until one near miss made me change my habit. A caller claiming to be from my bank insisted I move money immediately. My hands shook, but I did the simplest thing. I hung up. Then I dialed the number on my bank card and spoke to the fraud team. They had no record of the call. That short pause, that separate call, saved me from wiring money to a scammer. Over time I built a straightforward verification routine. If a message says it's from someone I know, I call them on a number I already have. If it claims to be from a company, I go to the official website by typing the address myself and use the contact listed there. If I receive an urgent-sounding text, I open my bank's official app to check for notices before doing anything. Caller ID can be faked, so I stop trusting the number that appears on the screen. Here are practical checks I used every time. Callback verification: hang up, then call the organization using a trusted number, back of card, bill, or official website. Independent confirmation: check the company's app or website for secure messages and recent activity. Never share codes. Never give out one-time passwords, verification codes, or full account numbers to unsolicited callers. Ask for official proof. Request an email from an official address or a written confirmation through your bank's secure message center. Document attempts. Take screenshots, note times, and keep a log to show to your bank or local authorities. For family emergency claims, I always called more than one relative before considering any financial help. If someone asks for gift cards, wire transfers, or remote access to your computer, I treated that as immediate grounds to verify. These are consistent scam signals across many cases. I also started saving suspicious messages and screenshots in a folder and reporting them to my bank and to consumer protection sites. When I showed those records to the bank's fraud investigators, they were able to trace patterns and block repeat attempts. That small step, saving proof, made me feel proactive instead of helpless. Emotionally, verification changed everything. The ritual of hang up, breathe, verify replaced fear with a quiet confidence. It wasn't about being suspicious of everyone, it was about giving myself time to make a measured decision. That pause protected my money and my peace of mind. I set up transaction alerts and a bank-trusted contact, small changes that trigger swift review. Telling friends at the senior center multiplied the protection. Never act on messages without verification. Trust but confirm. Do you check messages like this before acting? Let me know below. After this, I found a tool that would have prevented almost every scam I faced. Thirdly, I used tools that protected me. Then I started using spam filters and fraud alert apps. They caught emails and texts I might have fallen for otherwise. At first, I hesitated, After all, I had always relied on my instincts, thinking I could spot a scam if I paid attention. But experience taught me that intuition alone isn't enough. Scammers are clever, constantly updating their techniques, and sometimes even the most cautious person can slip. That's when I realized that technology itself could become my ally, not my enemy. I researched the best tools specifically designed to protect seniors, focusing on ease of use, reliability, and automatic alerts that wouldn't require me to spend hours setting them up or navigating complex menus. I installed a combination of email filters, SMS protection apps, and browser extensions that flagged suspicious links. These tools didn't replace my judgment, they enhanced it. For instance, a phishing email with a subject line that read urgent, account suspended went straight to my filtered folder before I even opened it. A text message claiming I had won a prize triggered a warning that it might be unsafe. Each time the apps flagged something, I reviewed it carefully, combining technology with the verification routines I had already developed. I also set up real-time alerts on my banking apps and credit monitoring services. Whenever there was a login attempt from an unfamiliar device or an unusual transaction, I received immediate notification. This allowed me to respond quickly before a scam could escalate. I realized that using these tools wasn't about fear, it was about empowerment. Instead of feeling constantly anxious, I felt proactive, in control, and confident that I had multiple layers of protection. I took it a step further by subscribing to senior-focused newsletters that shared updates on the latest scams targeting people my age. This was eye-opening. Some schemes were so creative that even I, someone who had been careful, might have been caught off guard without these updates. For example, I learned about scams involving fake tech support calls that mimicked legitimate software alerts, and investment schemes targeting retirees with promises of risk-free returns. Knowing these tactics in advance prepared me to react safely. Emotionally, these tools brought peace of mind. I could open emails, check social media, and manage my finances without that gnawing fear that I might make a costly mistake. I shared these protective apps and services with friends at my senior center, and we set up a small support system where we recommended tools to each other, discussed suspicious messages, and reinforced habits of caution. Over time, it became a culture of safety that encouraged everyone to embrace technology rather than avoid it. Leverage technology as your ally. The right tools make online navigation safer and less stressful. Which apps do you use to protect yourself? Share your tips in the comments. But the next action didn't involve apps at all. It was something I had overlooked for years, something simple yet profoundly effective that changed the way I approached every interaction online. Fourthly, I slowed down and trusted my gut. Fourth, I learned to pause and think before clicking. If something felt off, I didn't proceed. For years, I had rushed through emails and messages, assuming that if they looked official, they must be safe. That approach almost cost me dearly more than once. One afternoon, I received a message claiming my retirement account had been frozen due to suspicious activity. The email used urgent language, bold warnings, and threatened penalties if I didn't respond immediately. My first instinct was panic. I felt my heart race, my hands shake, and I almost clicked the link. But then something inside me said, "Wait, something isn't right." That moment of hesitation saved me. I took a deep breath, walked away for 10 minutes, and returned to examine the email carefully. Tiny inconsistencies became obvious. The sender's domain had a subtle misspelling, the salutation was unusual, and the email lacked any real contact information. Trusting my gut prevented me from falling into what could have been a very costly mistake. I realized that instincts are often overlooked in a world dominated by screens and automated messages. Our intuition, honed over decades of life experience, is a powerful ally. I began intentionally pausing before taking any action online, reading messages slowly, checking the sender, examining the links, and asking myself whether the request made sense. I even started reading emails out loud to myself. Hearing the words helped me notice odd phrasing or unusual tone that my eyes might otherwise have skipped. This simple pause, combined with careful observation, became a habit that drastically reduced my exposure to potential scams. Over time, I noticed a pattern. Most scam messages tried to rush me, to create fear or urgency. By slowing down, I neutralized their tactic. I began to set small rules, Never respond immediately to urgent requests, take at least 10 minutes to verify the legitimacy of unexpected messages, and consult a trusted friend or family member if I felt unsure. These steps didn't just prevent mistakes, they gave me confidence. I could engage online without constant fear, knowing that I had built a personal system for caution that respected both my time and intelligence. Emotionally, this shift was profound. I went from feeling anxious and reactive to calm and empowered. I could open my emails, check messages, and even browse online offers without that gnawing sense of danger. My confidence grew, and I even began helping friends at my senior center understand the importance of trusting their instincts, showing them that slowing down is not hesitation but wisdom. By sharing examples from my own near misses, I illustrated that even experienced seniors can fall for scams if they ignore their gut feelings. Your instincts are powerful. Take your time, don't let anyone pressure you online. Have you ever ignored your gut online and regretted it? Tell me your story. The next tip involved something simple but surprisingly powerful, a single habit that dramatically strengthened my online security and transformed the way I interact with technology every day. Fifthly, I strengthened my passwords. Fifth, I realized weak passwords were my biggest vulnerability. For years, I had recycled the same password across multiple accounts, thinking it would be easier to remember. I convinced myself that as long as it wasn't something obvious, I was safe. That mindset changed the day I received an alert that an unfamiliar device had accessed one of my online accounts. My heart sank. Even though nothing catastrophic happened, the warning made me realize that I was leaving the door wide open for anyone with a little determination. I started researching password security, learning how hackers exploit reused or weak passwords to gain access to multiple accounts at once. That was my wake-up call. I implemented a strategy that transformed my online security. First, I created strong, unique passwords for every account, mixing letters, numbers, and symbols in ways that were memorable but hard to guess. Next, I began using a password manager, which not only stored my credentials securely but also generated complex passwords automatically. This eliminated the temptation to reuse simple passwords and gave me peace of mind knowing that even if one account was compromised, the others remained secure. I also enabled two-factor authentication whenever it was available, adding an extra layer of protection that required verification before logging in. Learning to manage passwords wasn't just about safety, it was about building confidence. At first, I worried I might forget the combinations, but the password manager became my trusted companion, storing them safely and filling in login details automatically. I also kept a small, encrypted record of recovery methods for important accounts, ensuring I could regain access if needed. Over time, checking and updating passwords became a routine habit, like locking the doors before going to bed. This simple discipline reduced anxiety and helped me feel more in control of my online presence. Emotionally, strengthening my passwords gave me freedom. I no longer felt vulnerable when checking emails, banking online, or shopping on trusted sites. I shared these methods with friends and family, showing that password security doesn't have to be intimidating and that even seniors can maintain strong defenses with a little planning. It became a conversation starter at my local senior tech group, with everyone sharing tips for remembering complex passwords and the best tools to stay safe. Together, we developed a culture of awareness that reinforced the habit daily. Don't reuse passwords. Strong, unique passwords and a password manager can save you from major headaches. Do you struggle remembering passwords? Comment how you manage them. Step 6 is all about staying ahead of the newest scams. This one caught me off guard, and it taught me the importance of constantly updating my knowledge to protect myself and my hard-earned savings. Sixthly, I learned about trending scams. Sixth, I kept myself informed. I read about the latest scams, like AI-generated voice calls, fake tech support messages, and phishing campaigns that were becoming increasingly sophisticated. At first, I thought I could rely on my past experiences and instincts, but scammers continually adapt. What worked to spot a scam last year might not protect me this year. I realized that staying ahead required constant awareness. I subscribed to newsletters specifically for seniors, followed reputable consumer protection websites, and joined online forums where other retirees shared their experiences. These resources became my early warning system, alerting me to scams before they reached my inbox or phone. One particularly striking example involved AI-generated voice calls that mimicked the sound of a family member. The voice pleaded urgently for money to cover an emergency, and at first, it sounded so convincing that my heart skipped a beat. But because I had been reading about these scams and practicing verification steps, I paused and called my granddaughter directly using the number I already had for her. Of course, she was safe and unaware of any such emergency. That pause, combined with awareness of trending scams, prevented a costly mistake. I also learned to recognize common patterns: unrealistic promises, pressure to act immediately, requests for gift cards or wire transfers, and emails or calls from unfamiliar domains or area codes. Each new trend added a layer of understanding and sharpened my instincts. To keep up with trends, I set aside just a few minutes each day to read updates from trusted sources. I also took notes on recurring tactics and shared them with friends and my senior tech group. Over time, we built a small network of informed seniors who could warn each other about emerging threats. This communal approach not only kept us safer individually but also created a sense of solidarity and empowerment. We discussed the psychology behind scams, the way fear, urgency, and trust are manipulated, and learned to recognize these tactics in real time. Knowing how scammers think gave me a powerful advantage. Emotionally, staying informed transformed anxiety into confidence. Instead of feeling helpless or overwhelmed by news of new scams, I felt proactive and prepared. I could enjoy my online activities, checking emails, social media, and banking, without the constant dread that I might be tricked. It also gave me the courage to teach friends and family, demonstrating that knowledge is one of the strongest defenses against online fraud. I encouraged them to subscribe to the same alerts and to share stories of suspicious activity, reinforcing awareness as a shared responsibility. Being aware of what's trending in online scams keeps you one step ahead and less likely to fall victim. Have you seen any new scams recently? Share them so we all stay safe. Finally, the last step tied everything together and gave me real confidence online. It wasn't about technology alone, verification alone, or awareness alone. It was the combination of all these practices that truly secured my digital life. Seventhly, I built a support network. Finally, I shared experiences with friends and local senior tech groups. At first, I was hesitant, thinking that admitting my near misses with scams might make me appear careless or embarrassed. But I quickly discovered that speaking openly about my experiences was one of the most empowering actions I could take. I joined a community center group focused on technology for seniors, and the difference it made was immediate. Sharing stories of suspicious emails, strange phone calls, or unexpected online requests created an environment where we could learn from each other's mistakes without judgment. Every anecdote, every lesson learned, became a tool for everyone in the group. We developed a habit of weekly check-ins, discussing the latest scams, unusual messages, or any suspicious activity we had noticed. This wasn't just casual conversation, it became a structured exchange of knowledge. For example, one member received an email that looked like it came from a government agency claiming they owed him a refund. By sharing it with the group, we were able to analyze it together, noticing subtle signs of fraud that he had initially overlooked. That single discussion likely saved him from making a costly mistake. Over time, I realized that a support network wasn't just about warning each other, it was about building confidence, reducing fear, and creating a sense of community in a space that often feels isolating for seniors navigating technology. In addition to local groups, I reached out to friends and family, creating a smaller circle of trusted contacts for immediate advice. Whenever I encountered something suspicious, I could send a quick message or make a call to get a second opinion before acting. This immediate support dramatically reduced stress, allowing me to respond with caution instead of panic. It also reinforced accountability. Knowing I would discuss unusual messages with my support network made me more careful and methodical in handling potential threats. Emotionally, this network transformed the experience of online activity. I went from feeling isolated and vulnerable to confident and connected. Technology no longer felt like a minefield. Instead, it became a space where I could explore, communicate, and manage finances safely. The sense of shared vigilance made me feel part of something larger, an informal coalition of seniors looking out for each other, pooling knowledge and reinforcing best practices. We even created a simple messaging thread to instantly alert each other to emerging scams or unusual patterns, ensuring no one faced threats alone. You don't have to face online threats alone. Community and shared knowledge are your best defenses. Do you have friends or groups you talk to about tech safety? Let us know. Through this final step, all the pieces came together. The red flags, verification habits, protective tools, intuition, strong passwords, staying informed, and support networks, creating a comprehensive approach that gave me real confidence online. It's this combination of personal vigilance and shared wisdom that transformed my online life from one of uncertainty and fear to one of empowerment, safety, and freedom. Now, I use technology confidently, connecting with friends and family safely, and navigating the online world with a sense of control I never thought possible. Gone are the days when a single unexpected email or phone call could make my heart race with anxiety. I no longer fear clicking links, answering messages, or handling my finances online because I have developed a comprehensive set of habits, tools, and support systems that protect me. Each step I took, from recognizing red flags to verifying suspicious communications, from using protective apps to strengthening passwords, from staying informed about trending scams to relying on a supportive community, built a foundation that transformed my relationship with technology. I now approach the digital world with calm confidence, knowing I have the knowledge, skills, and resources to navigate it safely. Beyond my own safety, I have taken on a new role. I guide my friends, neighbors, and fellow seniors to avoid the traps I once nearly fell into. At our local senior tech group, I share stories, demonstrate verification techniques, show how to use protective apps, and encourage others to trust their instincts. The transformation is remarkable. Fear and hesitation have given way to curiosity, empowerment, and joy in exploring technology. We celebrate small victories, like spotting a phishing email before anyone clicks or teaching someone how to use two-factor authentication for the first time. These moments are affirmations that knowledge and preparedness create freedom rather than restriction. Emotionally, the change has been profound. I feel independent, capable, and in control. No longer do I experience the anxiety that once accompanied every alert or unexpected message. Technology has shifted from being a source of stress to a tool for connection, learning, and engagement. I am able to video chat with grandchildren, participate in online forums, manage my banking securely, and even explore hobbies and interests that were once intimidating in a digital format. The sense of accomplishment and safety is empowering, and it extends beyond myself to everyone I share these strategies with. Motivational takeaway: being cautious doesn't mean being afraid, it means reclaiming your independence. Each precaution, each step, and each shared lesson strengthens not just your safety but also your confidence, your ability to enjoy life, and your capacity to teach others. The online world can be intimidating, but when approached thoughtfully, it becomes a place of opportunity, learning, and meaningful connection. By combining vigilance, practical tools, informed habits, and community, seniors can navigate the digital space safely and confidently. If this helped you, like, share, and subscribe. Comment below with your experiences so we can all stay safe online. Every story shared strengthens our collective knowledge, and together we can turn fear into empowerment, ensuring that technology becomes a source of independence, connection, and joy for seniors everywhere.